picked up my first video camera in the spring of 1983, and I never looked back. It's been an adventure, and it took me into places that I would have never guessed to be, and projects I would never have guessed I would be doing. But I think that it's time that I let myself go and say, this is what I did, this is what happened, and how I can help others to do this. With video, I stuck with it, and it stuck with me. And the creation process is so great because everything that I learned, mostly I taught myself to do that. Because you can teach yourself a lot of things once you get to practice and you get experimenting with things and you keep at it. Don't stop. It's the same thing like on YouTube. You don't want to stop. You don't quit, and you keep going, and you can succeed. So my wife and I moved to California. We were encouraged to go because of a movie that was shot down here in the South, that's in our hometown, that was really connected well with us, that we needed to go up to California. And when we got there, we got an apartment. She got to manage the apartment complex, so we got a free apartment. And I started my first job. The first job I had in California was with American Cable Systems. It was fairly a new project going on with that in Los Angeles because it didn't have a lot of competition out there. They had, several cable systems, but not much in the early 80s. I get to manage the studio so I can show people, teach them how to work the cameras, how to adjust lighting, how to work audio, how to even edit, run tape, work with the talent. I mean, it was a whole experience that I loved doing. And I'm sure that the people got a lot out of it too, but I did as well. And that's what happened. When you get started, you got to work it anywhere you can, but I stayed in the business, which helped me out a lot. Now that I'm there, I said, I need to grow my platform. I need to expand and get bigger and get my creations out there and show. So I said, I got to keep looking out there and seeing what else is out there. And it happens to be where there's a lot of trade magazines in the Los Angeles area that cater to the entertainment world, naturally, like the Daily Variety, the Hollywood Reporter. And in the backsides, they have the classified ads and the help wanted. They had one ad that said, help wanted, video rental house needs production people. And it was kind of vague, but that was good. I like that. So I get over there. I had applied, or sent him a resume first, and he had invited me to come in. I get there, and I met with Clay. Clay says, okay, I like your resume. It's pretty impressive. I like your reel that you made up. So I need you to do one more test with me. I got a guy here that was going to be running around in this shop. I want you to follow him, keep him in the shot, and see how you shoot. Sure, okay. Okay, Goldie, take off. So I was shooting Goldie everywhere he goes. And it only took 20 seconds before Clay says, okay, that's enough. I said, uh-oh, I hope I impressed him enough for that. He says, you got the job. Be here tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Oh, man, great. I'm there. So I said, well, what is the name of the show? He said, Totally Hidden Video. I said, I've heard of that. Man, that's great. My first national TV show. Granted, it was a fun, twisting cheek and kind of having fun with it. But that was a show, and it was national, and it got me in there. And I was to go there early, help them load up the truck, which is what you kind of do, especially if you're non-union. And you load up the truck, and you get out to location, you set up, talk to the director, find out what you got to do, put your cameras in the boxes because you're hiding in a box with a one-way or two-way mirror, which is interesting because they can't really see in, and you have to cover the little red light on the outside of on the front of the camera, so they don't see the red light behind because that might show through the glass. And you play the trick. The actors that are also playing a role in the bit has IFBs in their ear. Now, that's how we called it IFBs because it folds back to the ear for what the director is seeing in there to help guide the actor to do what they got to do putting the mark in position. So the camera, because there's a money shot, there's the reveal coming up. So we want to make sure that we can all, at least one or two of us can get the shot out of 3 or 4. So that's what we're doing. So you got the sound guy, you got the art department, you got all this lighting and all this stuff working with us. So we're having to coordinate a lot of factors involved in this. So it'll work out well when it does work out. And then an S&P lady comes in, which is this standards and practices. He or she asked the mark a few questions to find out if they knew anything about the bit before they even came on location. Because some people might want to try to sneak their way in and pretend like they're really excited and stuff too, and just to be on TV. So, and we don't want that. We want to be authentic. We want to be natural. We want it to happen to be where it is actually happening. So she can ask a few questions. She knows what if you knew before. So in comparison between the 1980s and 90s till the 2026 and beyond, there is a big difference in the cameras and even some audio and some of the lighting as well. People stay the same mostly, but the thing is that we used to have everything on standard definition, 4:3. Nowadays it's 16:9 and high def, 4K, 6K, 8K. So it is getting to be where you can't much tell the difference. We used to use the Betacam SP, and that's what they used to use for the newscasts. In the field and reporting and stuff, the Betacam SP was the standard, and it was standard definition as well. So nowadays, the cameras have become a lot smaller, and even the phones today are as good, if not better, than the ones we used to use in the 80s and 90s for broadcast. So there's nothing wrong with that. We appreciate it, but it's changed a lot. And we're going to talk more about that too as the more and more segments come up from this show. And I want you to know that, oops, did I hit the mic? That's something else you need to learn about. If I hit the microphone, it's going to make like I don't want to do that no more. So we're going to have some up and coming shows that's going to have more detail on equipment, more shows that I've worked on, people that I've worked with, and where are we headed? Because it's the idea that we want to keep progressing and developing into better situations and better equipment and all kind of growth that we need to have. But at the same time, you don't want to lose where you came from. And you want to be able to remember some of the things because you can take some of those back with you to the future. Yeah, back to the future. Hey, we'll see you next week.